Today I'm showing you how to make a proper Tarka dal. Not the bland stuff, one that's rich, comforting and full of flavour.
Surprisingly, dal is one of those dishes that people are actually quite afraid to make, but it's got to be one of the simplest things that I make in my kitchen. There are so many different dals to choose from, but today we're going to make my favourite, the red split lentil variety, Tarka dal. The first thing we're going to do is measure out the dal and then give it a really good wash. Dal actually releases quite a lot of debris, so it's really important to give it a really good rinse through. A little bit like rice. I'm using this cup to measure. You can use a mug at home too. The important thing to remember is however many mugs of dal you use, you're going to use 4 times the amount of water. Some people actually find that dal upsets their tummy. If you're one of those people, you can actually soak the dal overnight. Soaking the dal will stop it irritating your tummy if that's what happens to you. We're going to pop this into the pan. It's been washed with about 3 or 4 changes of water, so we've got rid of most of the debris, hopefully. And then into that, we're going to add our 4 mugs of water. Don't worry if it looks like a lot. The dal will actually soak up most of this. You'll also lose some through steam, so although it looks like a lot to start with, it'll all come together in the end. We're going to bring this to a boil, and even though we've given the dal a really good wash, the water still is cloudy. It happens. You might find some brands do this less, you might find that some brands do it more. You never really know. But if it does look really cloudy, all we're going to do is let it come to the boil, and any scum that forms on the top, we're just going to scoop that right off and get rid of it. By doing that, you get a much cleaner flavour in your dal. And so now that it's come to the boil, you can see all of these bits of scum that are forming on the top. We're just going to wait for that to come to a good rolling boil, and then we're going to scoop all of this away. It's actually not too bad today. It has been much worse before. Don't worry about getting every last bit, just get as much as you can. And then once your dal has come to a really good boil, you are ready for your spices. We're going to pop those straight in, along with about 2 tablespoons of tomato passata. You can use fresh tomatoes if you want to, just blend them up before you put them in. Give this a really good stir in. And then we're just going to pop the lid on, turn the heat down and let that cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. Just make sure you keep an eye on it, you don't want it to boil dry. While that's cooking, we are going to prep the tarka. I'm going to dice up an onion nice and fine. Then I'm also going to use a thumb of ginger, which I'm just going to slice into thin fingers. Now when I'm making this at home for us guys, I tend not to put fresh ginger in like this. I'll just use the garlic and ginger paste that I've got made in the fridge, just because I can't be bothered. And then I'm also going to just slice up a red chilli. You can use green if you've got green. If you want to use red, you can use red. Red looks really pretty in Tarka dal. And now we're just going to check back on the dal, and you can see that actually quite a lot of that water has already gone. So between us taking out the scum earlier, the amount that's evaporated and how much the dal has actually absorbed, it's about the right consistency. But because I'm going to leave this to cook for a little bit longer, I'm going to add in just a little bit more water. I'll add about 150 millilitres of water just now. And let that come back to a boil. And then we're just going to turn the heat down and let that simmer again for another 10 to 15 minutes, or until it's cooked through. And now while we wait for that dal to finish cooking, we might as well prep the tarka. So you'll need a good knob of butter. I'm going to let that melt in the pan. Don't know why it's taking so long to do. It's been in the fridge, so it's taking hours. And then into that, we're going to add your onions that you chopped earlier. And I want these to cook gently until they turn a really pale golden brown. And then once they're nice and pale golden like this, and they've just got a little bit of colour around the edges, you are ready for your ginger and garlic. If you're using fresh, add your ginger first and then add your garlic once the ginger has caught a little bit of colour. But if, like me, you're using ginger and garlic paste, you can pop that in now. Give that a really good mix in, and after about 30 seconds or so, you can add in your ginger that you chopped earlier. Let this cook through a little bit, and when you see those sticks of ginger just catching a little bit of colour around the edges, you know they're done. Just make sure you keep it moving, you don't want it to burn. And then once it's looking a little bit like this, you can stir in chillies. Now you can actually add the chillies into the dal if you want to, but today I'm feeling a little bit fancy, so I'm going to pop them into our tarka. Give this a really quick mix in. You want to leave them with a little bit of texture. And then you can turn the heat off and stir in a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Just give these a really good rub between your hands and they will release all of their delicious flavour. Now we're adding the cumin seeds at the end because I find that if I add them into hot oil and they stay in there for too long, they just tend to have a bitter taste. This way it stays a lot more fragrant and fresher. So we're just going to let that settle in on the residual heat. I wish you could smell it, actually, it smells so good. And by now your dal should be done. Some dals might take a little bit longer. They may need more or less water. Different brands behave differently. Just make sure you keep an eye on it and just give it what it needs. And then you're ready for your tarka. I added a little bit of extra butter into mine because it was looking a bit parched. And then the last thing to go in is your coriander. Now I like coriander. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know this about me. So I'll be adding in all of this. But if you're not a fan, or you want to add less, that's totally fine. So if you prep all of your ingredients, you can actually have this ready within half an hour. It's a really quick meal to make. Stir in your coriander. The colours just look so lovely in dal, especially when you've got the red chillies in there, and it smells absolutely amazing. So I'm hoping this recipe will encourage you to try dal if you've not tried it before. It's super easy to make and it's really easy on the pocket too.
Make it once properly and you will not go back to bland dal again. Go on, what are you waiting for? Make me proud.